My name is Cowin, and this is my story. The best way to describe it is life was completely unmanageable, and only realizing it later on is I was actually just trying to escape my reality that I was living in. I couldn't cope with life on life's terms. Yeah, I was just I would say, out of control. I was a bit of a wrecking ball back in the day, just looking for a way out all the time. I was using drugs. I couldn't face people. It started off with trying to just fit in with the crowd, and just feel part of, because that's what we all long for. So that's how it started. And then you start using on your own. You start isolating yourself. You feel insecure, you're paranoid, you're obsessive. And then there's other symptoms come where you're selfish. Everything revolves around me. You start stealing from your family to obviously buy stuff. I broke so many relationships. I lost contact with my parents. They wanted nothing to do with me. In the end, I was actually on my own. I was kicked out of the boxing gym as well. I think it got to a point where, I didn't really have a career. I had no job. Just using always in my bedroom. Had no one to speak to. And I realized this at that stage as well, that I needed help and I was in a dark place. I just honestly didn't know how to get out of it. So during this time, I actually bumped into one of the guys that used to be at our boxing gym. I was actually walking on the street, and then he asked me to come and train him a little bit, do some personal training with him. And back then, because I was a bit insane, I would actually be open and honest about what I was doing. And he didn't judge me for it. He actually just wanted to help me, and he actually said, man, why don't you come with me to church on Sunday? And I didn't want to go. But he kind of asked me, please, then I'll keep training with you. And I needed the money. So I ended up going to church with him on Sunday. And I actually used before I went into church. And at the end of the service, they asked, if you want to give your life back to God, come to the altar. And I didn't step up. And then he asked me, do I want to go? And I said, I've been there so many times, nothing changes. I had run out of options. And I felt like I couldn't come back to God because of the mistakes I made in life. And then he mentioned to me, it's not how many times you leave it, it's about coming back. And I walked to the front that evening, and I was crying, and I just prayed to God and asked him to, change my life. When I prayed that prayer to God by the altar there, it really felt like a ton of bricks got lifted off my shoulders. And that's where I felt like I had an encounter with God. And it was the last time I used, and 3 days later, my parents had an intervention with me. They sent me to rehab. I was willing to go because I felt like this was all part of God's plan. He was in control, and he knows where he's directing me. And that's how I got clean. And I actually built my relationship with God in rehab, because you have a lot of time in there. Just I read scripture. We're praying, we're worshiping. You do some duties there, and that's where I think I really got to know God. There was a song by Lecrae. It's called "I'll Find You," and I don't know if you listen to this song. It reminded me of me speaking to God, and then God speaking to us. And the title of the song is "I'll Find You." And no matter where you are in life, you can be in the darkest places of your life. You can be, whatever you've done, God is always there. We choose to walk away from Him, and we can always come back, no matter what you've done. And it felt like for me, God was saying, I'll find you. Just trusting Him on this journey, and just, constantly staying in contact with God. He's led me to working a program where I had the courage to actually deal with things that I hadn't dealt with from the past. He healed my wounds that I've never dealt with as a kid. And with doing this program, I was able to make amends to the people I've hurt. I've rebuilt my relationships with my family. It's better than ever. And I always believe we go through things for a reason. But now, like, I'm here and I'm able to help people that may be struggling or that may be in a position where I was. And perhaps I can give them some hope and a bit of light in the darkness they might be in. And show them, like, you know, there is a way out. And God can really change your life.